You hear that?
What's that?
It's the market crashing. No, I'm just kidding. Although the market is not crashing, 62% of all builders here in Orlando are offering incentives for buyers to come along and purchase one of their new construction houses. And because we're not seeing a massive increase in resale inventory, new construction is starting to pick up again. Today we're going to talk about what the opportunities are and what that actually means from a dollar perspective for you if you're thinking about building in 2023. So while nationwide, home sales are down 38%, which is a ton. We're not talking about the actual home values dropping. We're talking about the number of sales that have actually dropped. 38% is a massive number. And if that continued, and we saw an increase in new homes actually hit the market for sale, we would be in the place where we're gonna see a crash. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on where you're looking at, if you're trying to buy a house right now, there's still not a ton of inventory on the market. That leaves new construction, and today we're here in North Lake by Ashton Woods, which is in Horizon West, and this is just one example of neighborhood after neighborhood that's been developed, and these builders have to do something to cause you to come along and buy, and so they're looking at lots of different options. So let's get into that right now. In 2010 and 2012, which is when I first got into really the new construction world, builders were typically offering incentives, whether that's a mortgage buy down, they're offering options at the design center, or really giving you better deals on lots. And those are really the three things that were just kind of a normal thing. But fast forward all the way to 2020, and those completely disappeared. When COVID came along, all of us thought, hey, listen, the market's going to get really, really bad. And the complete opposite happened. You had people lining up down the street just to get one lot. Now builders have switched back to their old tactics, which is helping you buy down your interest rate, which gives you a lower monthly payment. They're also giving negotiations on lots and the design center, which last year we didn't even have a design center. It was like you take the box how it is or nothing. I can't believe this wasn't even an option when we built. So that's cool. Now you get to actually build your house, which I think is a really cool thing. But let's talk a little bit more about the financial incentives that you can have right now. Here's the thing. A lot of builders have massive neighborhoods like this that they're paying money on. Yes, they own the land, but they had to pay for the development. They have to keep their crews on and busy and doing the work. And so they're gonna offer incentives to keep home sales going. They've done so to the fact nationwide that there's been over 6% increase in new home sales month over month, which shocked so many different people. The thing to keep in mind right now is that nothing is normal. COVID completely changed the way the real estate market was going. We didn't see an up and down cycle. We saw just a straight up cycle. Now things are flat, and so we're back to like, what's gonna actually happen with resales? What's gonna happen with new construction? So these builders are getting really creative to come up with ideas to draw people back in. And so I already mentioned how some of the builders will financially incentivize you to move forward on a new construction purchase. But one other way that they're doing it is by building smaller houses. You can see behind me, there's a house by Ashton Woods. It's only about 2,200 square feet. It's the plant model. And there's gonna be a lot more people that are driving down to smaller houses and going after nicer interiors, but less square footage. That's a way that builders can get around the idea of having to sell $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 houses and get back into the lower price brackets, which broadens their market appeal to more buyers. So let me know down in the comments below, if you're going to build a house, what's the perfect size for you? So here's what's happening. You've got these buyers that are looking at $500,000 house. With right now, you've got maybe $50,000 in incentives or even $25,000 incentives. The builders are not willing to touch the base price of the house. Right. They want to keep it exactly where it's at and continuing to climb every 4 or 5 sales that they have in a community. Yeah. What they're willing to negotiate on is like lot premiums and design center and that kind of stuff. Well, then what happens is the base price keeps going up and eventually they take away the incentives and then now people get priced out. Yeah. And so that's why locking in right now could be a potentially really good thing for most people. All right, so let's talk about some real life examples from financial perspective that builders recently, as in like this week with my team and I, where we've been able to negotiate on behalf of our buyers. So over in Summerdale Park in Lake Nona, we were able to negotiate $65,000 off the purchase of a new home. And that was a spec home that was already in process. And that's where a lot of builders will be more than willing to negotiate on a house that's already getting built. Again, they own the land. They have to have trades that they're already paying for, and so they're making payments on the land, and so they're more incentivized to get these things under contract. In Claremont, we had somebody that we helped $28,000 off of the lot premium and towards design centers, and then downtown Orlando on a spec home, a smaller builder, they were willing to pay all the closing costs plus buy down a rate for our buyers. And so there's a lot of different incentives out there if you want to get a little creative. And so if you see something online that you're interested in, my team and I are more than willing to help. But I've got one more thing before you leave. Are you subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. We're putting out videos every single week about real estate, theme parks, and living in Orlando. All right, let's keep going. One of the main reasons why a lot of people are not attracted to new construction right now is because of the unknown of what's going to happen in the next year or two. And I get that. You want to bring some certainty back to where you're at. And so some builders are willing to lock in your interest rate today, regardless of what happens over the next year. And so if you're looking for a little bit of certainty in your life, you're trying to figure out exactly what to do, that could be really important. Now, the other piece is, like, if you're thinking about buying a house and just trying out Orlando, maybe new construction, maybe buying a house right now is not for you. Maybe you should actually rent. But if you're thinking about a 3, 5, 10-year process, then buying now, lock in your rate as low as you can, get the house exactly with what you want. I think that's a massive thing, because here's what's going to happen is as the market starts to shift back in the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to have builders start taking away incentives and continuing to raise their base price. And so now it could be an opportunity for you to lock in at a really good deal, regardless of what's going on in the market. You may have heard that over the past few years that new construction has been a nightmare. Missing windows, missing trusses, just bad trades because there was too much demand in the new construction realm. Well, the cool thing is a lot of these things have finally started to get a little bit better. You have a lot of the suppliers taking care of the block and the windows, and it's just a little bit easier to get the supplies that we need to keep up with our current demand. And so once the backlog gets taken care of, I think we're going to be in a really good spot. In fact, I think this collective pause in the market is actually a really good thing. And so if you're thinking of buying or selling a house anywhere in Central Florida, my team and I, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. Email me, info@pozekgroup.com. We'll see you guys on the next video.